KTN News. Get the whole story.
As it stands, family of woman shot in war-torn Sudan is seeking help from the government, according to the People Daily today. Sarah Waithera says her daughter was scampering for safety when she was hit by a stray bullet. She is yet to get treatment, and this is just showing you where we are at right now. Prompt action is needed from government. Principal Secretary of the Department for Diaspora Affairs, Roslyn Jogu, said they are working with international friends and partners to respond to the emerging humanitarian crisis and urged Kenyans in Sudan to stay indoors as they monitor the situation. So this is happening here in the country, and of course I ran you by the headline in Uganda as well. 300 of Ugandans are caught up in the skirmishes in Sudan. This is what we're talking about. Before we took a short break, Brigadier, we're just asking the poignant question regarding the African Standby Force and who makes the call. And is it just a moribund standby force that cannot come in handy when we have such a situation of emergency?
I was going to go a bit back before the African Standby Force and mention that the AU has got an early warning system. IGAD has an early warning system. And they're set way back to address the common issues in Africa and bring them to light before they get out of control. Now, unfortunately, even with that one, we have tended to be reactive and not proactive, because I would have asked, actually, the critical moment when Hamdok was facing a challenge and it was being removed, that was the right time to have come in and control the situation. Had we done the right thing at that time, it would have been under control. We sat, we watched, it went haywire. We saw the military taking different directions, different leaderships and all that. And as always, without delay, what I like, the military command council is ready to take over, and come in. And it has been there all along. The command council that comes in and takes over and takes control. And then one person appointed to be the head. So to me, we were late in terms of responding. The initial action normally is not for the standby force, it's political. The political arm of the AU and IGAD to have gone in and intervened. I know they did, but they went in and pulled out. They didn't go in. They went in and pulled out. That was a crucial moment.
So went into the pull-out reason?
They went in, discussed, and they left. Nothing went on after that. There was no that engaged dialogue, continuous dialogue. It was lacking. It wasn't there. They showed their presence, things looked a bit better, and they pulled out. Then, after Hamdok was removed, these two now came in. Yeah, the two came in now, agreed on how to share this power. One becomes the head, one becomes the deputy, and move on. And then now, at some point, in terms of a lasting solution, form this government. Again, to me, this military government, which again change into civilian, and then decide the future. Yeah. So really, to me, the initial point was that element of the political. From the AU and IGAD should have stayed on the course, help them to shape their future. Once it's firm, then pull out. Going in now, it's not solving anything. It's too late.
It's too late.
It's too late. Now, come to the African Standby Force. The chairman has put it very well. He was there himself. We do have it. It's in place. In fact, for the region here, the secretariat is in Nairobi. The African Standby Force. The chief of staff sits here in Nairobi. But then the force commander is normally rotating. Now, that also, a standby force. But unfortunately, you have no sitting forces ready to be told, move now.
There's no sitting force?
No sitting force saying, this is ready, dedicated, move now. It's not there.
So this is just a name?
No. It's a name, but it's supposed to be active in their countries. Because you see, like the UN system is different. The UN commits you to a number of days, and you stay. You say, I'll deploy in 30 days, and you're ready. In 30 days, you must deploy. For us here, that is lacking. They sit in capital, and then you start now putting things together. It takes too long.
So you have to plan, you have to organize the logistics.
Again, remember, it calls for, early planning. Because you must see in fact, from the political, it's the political who have gone in, seen a problem, discussed it. If they can't solve it at the political level, there's need for forces. They go to phase 2 now, bring in the force.
That name is an oxymoron then. Why do we have a
Bring the
standby
force.
force which is not ready? I thought a standby force should be in a military camp. You know, you're waiting for orders at the end of the day.
Just exactly what I said. Let me go back, and I want to agree with, first of all, what he said. The way we missed the boat is when Abdallah was being removed, and we watched it happen. Now it's a bit too late. And the early warnings were there. Why is it a problem? Because the African countries have not themselves agreed to say, when it's an internal matter, you can allow the neighbors to come in and help you put out the fire. They would say you are interfering in internal affairs. Because if you see the way Abdallah was set, first of all, the generals were very good. They made sure there would be. First of all, the population was agitated that Abdallah team was not delivering quickly, because the people were still saying the prices of commodities were high. They were not seeing a move towards elections and the rest. But in the boardroom, they were still having challenges of how to organize it. The population was anxious. So they made him look like incompetent, and then you allow him removed. It's internal matter. You cannot intervene in that. So that's the challenge, and it's a very difficult line. But there is also a philosophy I want to ask you when I come to standby force. You know, militarism is not always an answer that, there is a problem, send forces to shoot. It is always the last line. When you are going to protect life, when you are going to make sure there is breakdown law and order and the rest. And the countries don't accept that easily. You saw even Ethiopia when they were fighting. You wouldn't intervene. They said, no, leave it. We sort it ourselves. They have sorted it out. But coming to the standby force, they come together, first of all, they drill, get to know the names of the game, they go through the manual, the doctrines, how they go into, a war situation or a peace where peace is disturbed, but they disperse, go back to their normal duties. And it makes sense, because there is no point of them sitting somewhere in Nairobi. You have all these forces, maybe 3,000-5,000 seated like that. They are doing national duties. But then in terms of now the command, the original intention was, and this was part of Gaddafi's doctrine, but it was rejected, that the AU chairperson should be then empowered to say immediately, get together, now give a command. But he can't. He still has to go through a head of state. The head of state, these forces are, a standby force is other forces, it's not his. So mobilization becomes a problem. If it is for disaster and the rest, yes, they can, and it is necessary. But when it comes to this kind of thing, I must admit, because in any case, AU project is still a project in progress. This is not well crafted.
But this project in progress has been there for quite a long time, from OAU to AU. We're still, trying to panel beat AU. Don't you find AU to be woefully inadequate? When it comes to current situations like this, it's been woefully falling short over itself, even in the war in Ethiopia. Now it is Sudan. We wonder how they'll be able to solve the problem in Sudan.
I think you give a credit to the EU, because the peace accord was achieved through the EU. In fact, if you remember, General Obasanjo flew to Tigray, went to see the, mandated by the African Union, and then they brought the two together, and they finally got the answer.
No.
That's what I was saying, that yes, it is not so much of the militarism that you say you send people with guns and bullets to go and put down a rebellion, but you give peace and security. In fact, the EU motto now at the moment is let's silence guns. Huh?
It was a concerted effort of the international community as well. It was not just AU alone.
But they played the lead role. Yeah, they played the lead role. That one, I think you should give them credit.
All right.
Yeah.
Dubal, I was recently interviewed by the Indian International Network about AU. And my point was, AU is different from AOU. OAU. AU is doing some things that has never been done before in Africa and getting result. Willing to intervene, to say to a country, listen, you are not following our structure, we are not welcome. And therefore, we need to go one step forward.
Yeah.
because this issue is important. Where we are lacking, Ambassador Mwenje, is proactive.
Yes, that's true.
We are constantly reacting. We are reacting. We knew this issue was coming. Why did we have a consistent ambassadors